If you want to work from home, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is just simply searching for work from home jobs and applying for everything that you actually see. Because working from home isn't really a job category, it's more of a way of working. And the real question that you need to answer is this: what useful or helpful thing can you actually do for an employer or a client remotely? And how can you actually prove that you can do it to a high quality standard? In this video, I'm going to teach you a practical way to figure that out, choose a realistic route into remote work, and how you can actually use things like AI without becoming dependent on it, and actually start applying for real opportunities to create an income from home. Now, before we get started, can I ask one small favor? If you like what I do here, can you please hit the subscribe button? That keeps me really energized to bring you more videos. Thank you very much. Let's get into it. Let's make this very simple for you. There are three main ways that you can start working from home. Number one is you can actually get a remote employee job. Number two is you can work as a freelancer or a contractor. And number three is you can build a small service business that you basically operate from home. The mistake is thinking that you need to become an expert of some sort before you actually start. You really don't. What you need is one marketable skill, evidence that you can actually use it, and a simple system for getting in front of the people who really need it. So let's go and build that system for you. Let's begin with step number one, which is don't start with what job can I get? You want to start with a better question, such as what problems can I already solve, or what problems can I learn to solve reasonably quickly? Now, what you can do is the following. You can open up a tool like Gemini or ChatGPT and actually just make a list of your existing experience. You could say something like the following: here is my work history, education, hobbies, and things that I'm good at. Please identify skills that could potentially be delivered remotely working from home. Group them into administration, customer support, sales, writing, design, technology research, and other relevant categories. Please don't exaggerate my abilities. Now, the important part is that last instruction. Now, you don't want to ask AI to tell you that you're qualified for everything. You want to ask AI to identify evidence that you actually already have. For example, if you've actually worked in retail, you might already have some customer experience, complaint handling, maybe some stock administration, communication, and maybe some sales experience as well. Those can actually translate into remote customer support, virtual assistants, sales support, or even administrative type roles that you can actually do working from home. Now, ChatGPT can actually help you organize your thinking and just turn a very vague starting point into a specific option. But you still need to actually verify the claims it makes against your real experience. Now you just need to choose one direction, not 10. So if you actually try to become a virtual assistant, a graphic designer, a copywriter, a programmer, and a social media manager simultaneously, you're probably going to create 5 weak profiles instead of one very strong and convincing profile. Let's now move on to step number 2, which is to build some proof before you expect someone to hire you. Now, this is where a lot of beginners actually get stuck. They say, I don't have any experience, so I can't get a job. But experience and evidence of ability aren't exactly the same thing. So let me explain. If you're trying to become a social media assistant, as an example, you could actually just go out there and create 3 or 4 sample posts using an app like Canva for an imaginary local business. And you can do that basically for free. Now, if you're interested in bookkeeping, for example, you could just create a sample spreadsheet using some fictional data. Now, if you want something more along the lines of administrative work, you could go out there and create a sample process, just showing how you would actually organize a very messy inbox, schedule some appointments, and just maintain a spreadsheet. And this is where AI can actually save you a huge amount of time. You see, you can use things like Gemini and ChatGPT or any other AI tool that you want to use to help you create a realistic practice brief. So for example, you could just go to ChatGPT or Gemini and prompt it with the following: act as a small business owner and give me a realistic beginner level administrative task. Include the business context, the problem, the information I receive, and what the finished deliverable should actually contain. Don't solve it for me. So there's a simple prompt that you can use with the AI. Then you actually go away and actually do the work. Now that distinction actually matters. Now you don't want to use AI to actually manufacture experience. You want to use AI to create opportunities for you to practice. You want to think of AI as your assistant. You can then just put your strongest examples into a simple portfolio using something like Google Drive or Notion or just a basic personal website. I suggest to start with Google Drive and Notion because you can do these on a very low budget. Now your portfolio doesn't need 20 different projects in there. You just need 3 or 4 strong examples. Some really relevant examples are usually more useful than having 20 or 30 random projects. Let's now move on to step number 3, which is to learn the remote work toolkit. Now once you actually know what type of work you're actually targeting, you need to go away and learn the tools that people in that type of role are actually using on a daily and a weekly basis. So for general remote work, you should become more comfortable with tools for communication, for documents, for spreadsheets, for meetings, and for task management as well. So for example, Microsoft Teams combines communication, meetings, files, and even collaboration, while tools such as Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace are very commonly used for documents and spreadsheets. But here's the important part. You don't want to just learn the software by just watching endless tutorials on YouTube and other places. You want to go out there and create a realistic project and use those softwares to actually complete it. Now let's just say, for example, that you're targeting administrative style work. You want to go out there and create a fictional client. Then just practice organizing files, creating a spreadsheet, writing those professional emails, scheduling a meeting, creating a task list, summarizing those meeting notes, and just presenting the finished work very clearly. And you can actually use a few AI tools to help you do this, like ChatGPT and Otter AI for things like transcription and meeting notes. So you can use AI to help you with some of those things. Now what you're actually doing here is that you're actually developing what I would call workflow competence. That's much more valuable than simply being able to say, I know Microsoft Excel. Because employers don't really pay for knowing a button. They pay you for getting a very useful outcome or a good result. Let's now move on to step number 4, which is to use AI as a co-pilot and an assistant, not as your employee. Now this is very important right now. AI can make you much more productive and save you a lot of time and help you get much more done. But there is actually a mistake you could actually make. You could actually ask AI to do everything for you. Then you just submit something you don't fully understand, and that's not really a very good and a sustainable career strategy for you to follow. Instead, I want you to think of AI as your co-pilot and your assistant. You actually remain responsible for the objective and the mission, the context and the final quality of the projects that you are doing. So for example, instead of just saying, write this email, you could go to the AI and give it the situation, the audience, your intended outcome, and the tone that you actually want. Then you can actually just review the result that the AI gives you. And then from there, you can just ask the following questions. What's inaccurate? What assumptions did you make? What information is missing? Rewrite this using only the facts that I provided. So there's a simple process which is actually much stronger for you. And if your version of ChatGPT actually includes file and document capabilities, you can also use it to analyze material, organize information, and actually help create documents from different source material, depending on your plan and the available features that you've got with your ChatGPT version. Now, the skill you're really developing isn't actually prompting. It's knowing what good work, what good high quality work looks like, and just using AI tools to actually reach that standard much faster. Let's now move on to step number 5, which is to choose your job hunting route. Now you actually need somewhere to find actual opportunities to allow you to work from home. So for employment, LinkedIn is actually one of the most practical starting points for you to explore. You could just go to LinkedIn and you can just search for the specific role that you're actually targeting. You can actually select the remote filter and create job alerts for searches that actually match your criteria. But you don't want to just search only for work from home or working from home. That's actually too broad. You want to search for the actual skill that you want and that you can actually provide. You want to go on LinkedIn and search and try things like remote customer support, or even remote administrative assistant, or even remote sales development representative, or remote content writer, or whatever matches your chosen skill. This is actually an important shift. You're no longer just searching for work from home or working from home. You're searching for a specific job that happens to be remote that you can actually do from home. Now, if you prefer to go down the freelancing route, you've got platforms such as Upwork at upwork.com, which allows freelancers to basically create profiles and just search for different projects which are posted. And you can just submit proposals and work with clients all over the world through the Upwork platform. But you don't want to just go to Upwork and create a generic profile saying something like, I can do anything. Instead, you want to make your offer much more specific and very niche. So for example, you could say, I help small businesses organize their inbox, customer inquiries, and their spreadsheets. That's much more specific and much easier. That's a lot easier for a potential client to understand what you actually do and how you can help them. Let's now move on to step number 6, which is to apply like a problem solver. Now, here's another big mistake you want to avoid. You find a job, you then read the description, you then send the same CV and generic cover letter that you've sent everywhere else. Instead, here's what you want to do. You want to analyze the job description and look for repeated problems. Now, if the employer keeps mentioning customer inquiries or CRM updates and even accurate records, those are clues about what they actually need and want help with. Then you want to make your application reflect those requirements. Your CV should make it easy to answer 3 simple questions. Can you do the work? Have you done something similar before? And can you communicate professionally? You can then go along to ChatGPT or Gemini to compare your CV against a job description. And you can just ask the AI, identify the 5 most important requirements in this job description. Compare them with my CV. Show me which requirements I can genuinely support with evidence and which ones I should not claim. So there's a simple question you can put into the AI to help you do this. Now that's a much better use of AI than just asking it to invent impressive achievements. Let's now move on to step number 7, which is to create a simple weekly system. And now we get to the part that actually turns all of this into an action plan for you. Now you don't want to spend 3 weeks endlessly preparing. You want to give yourself a simple weekly workflow. For example, Monday you can go and improve your skill for just 1 hour and create 1 portfolio piece. On Tuesday you can find relevant jobs and save the best ones. On Wednesday you can tailor applications to those jobs. On Thursday you can go out there and contact potential freelancing clients or just submit proposals. On Friday you can review what happened and just improve your process. Now you can actually go out there and use a task management app such as Microsoft To Do or Trello or any other system that you already understand. The software isn't the important part here. The important part is that every opportunity has a next action. Not find remote work, but apply for the remote customer support position by 3 p.m. That is very actionable. Let me now give you a realistic example. Let's say you currently work in retail and you want to work from home. You identify customer service and administration as your strongest transferable skills. You then spend the next week learning the basics of spreadsheets, professional email communication, and a remote collaboration platform. You then create 3 or 4 practice projects. You build a simple portfolio. You then update your LinkedIn profile around customer support and administration. Then you can actually go and search specifically for remote customer service and administrative roles rather than randomly applying for every work from home advert that you actually see online. And at the same time, you could test freelancing by offering a narrowly defined service such as inbox organization or just basic administrative support. Now you've actually created multiple routes into remote work without pretending you have experience that you actually don't have. Let's now talk about some mistakes that you want to avoid. The first one is paying someone for a guaranteed remote job. You want to be very cautious whenever someone promises guaranteed employment in exchange for some money. The second mistake is buying expensive equipment before you actually have some work. You may eventually need a better computer, a more advanced headset or workspace, or some better software. But you want to start with what you genuinely need for the role that you're actually targeting. The third mistake is applying to hundreds of jobs with no real strategy. You want to be tracking your applications and looking for patterns. So if you're actually getting interviews but failing them, your interview performance may need some work. If you're getting no interviews at all, then your targeting, your CV or your evidence may need some improvement. And the fourth mistake is letting AI exaggerate your experience. If AI writes that you managed a team of 10 when you actually didn't, then don't use it. Your goal is not to look experienced. Your goal is to become genuinely useful. So let me now give you the simple action plan that you can follow. So if you want to start working from home to create a remote income, here's a simple strategy for you. First of all, choose one remote friendly skill. Now go away and learn the tools used in that type of work. Now go and create 3 or 4 pieces of evidence showing what you can actually do, and you can use AI tools to help you do this. Next, you want to build a focused CV and an online profile. Now you want to go and search for the actual role rather than just work from home or working from home. Then apply selectively and just tailor your applications. And you can also use AI to improve your research, your practice, and your productivity as well, not to actually fake competence. And then just repeat the process while improving based on what actually happens. Because the real breakthrough isn't finding some magical website that gives you a work from home job. It's actually becoming someone who can solve problems repeatedly, who can prove it and communicate that value very clearly. And once you actually understand that, working from home becomes much less mysterious. It becomes a practical career strategy. And you can start building it one skill, one project, and one application at a time. Wow, that's it for this one. Now, if you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and start building your own online business and creating new income streams, take the next step now. Click the link below in the description or in the top pinned comment, where you can find some free guides and some free resources to help you get started right away with building your new digital business and new income. These free resources will teach you step by step how to actually set up and create your own digital business and new online income streams as well. So I know these free resources will be very helpful for you. So don't wait, take action today. You can go and click the link below in the description and the pinned comment and start your online venture right now. And thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for new videos. It really does energize me to create more content for you. Thank you very much indeed. And if you want to connect on social, you can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram. The links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day.